And welcome everybody to Locked On Lads TV. We are live. There's no musical intro this week. There's no fancy stuff. I got it all wrong. We are in qualifying, ready to go. We're on the roof of Raven Yeager's car. I'm Peter Wilkinson, and I'm joined tonight by Scotty Rankin. How are you, Scotty?
Exhausted, pumped up, terrified, amazed. Just all the good things that you associate with another round of Australasian Supercars eSeries. And let me tell you, it's a Sunday night, which is my favourite night of the week. So yeah, let's go racing.
Let's go racing indeed. If you're on top of Raven Yeager's car there, he just flipped it. We are just trying to get a few things up in the background. Like I said, we had the whole pre-quali last week, and I thought we were doing the same again this week, so I was not ready for us to just jump straight into quali. We've got 2 minutes left. We are on top of Aaron Dillon's car. This is what I was doing. I was just playing around with the whole camera packs, and we're now...
He got a new toy. He got a new toy this weekend, and I mean, big boys, big toys. I mean, what more do you want?
Yeah, that's it. So we can look around now, but I haven't quite got it worked out. So yeah, that's where we're going to stay right there. But let's go to TV1 and let's see what's happening as Aaron Dillon pulls into the pits. We're at Michigan International Speedway here for round number 7 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries, and we're brought to you tonight by my private seller and a whole heap of other legends, but we'll get to them in a sec. It's round 7, Scotty. We're flying through this 22-round season. Barry Neal...
flying over cars.
Flying over cars, that's it. I'll get my controller working properly later on. However, Barry Neal's topping the grid once again. What do we expect from Mr. Neal tonight?
From Mr. Neal, it's probably going to be another ecstatic race. Something that I believe he is completely and utterly prepared for and ready to roll with. So look, to be perfectly honest, Mr. Neal has been on the ball the last couple of weeks in terms of qualifying. Race results have not really favoured him all that much. Once again, Cade Donnelly up there, it's your typical same sort of guys that are up here each and every single week. But again, I just want to see Barry Neal transition that into race finishes. The biggest issue I have with the moment, it's the same issue I have with Cade Donnelly, is the inconsistency. They're capable of the big results, but they're yet to really bring those results to bear. So as soon as they start doing that consistently, they will be a force to be reckoned with. And to be perfectly honest, I would actually say if they can get some consistency going, I'm actually more worried about Barry Neal and Cade Donnelly winning a championship than I am, say, Raymond Yeager, Justin Witcher. But the problem is, Witcher and Yeager and everyone from that Pinnacle Esports team are great at putting races together. Their qualifying performances, they tend to have, a great qualifying performance here, there, and everywhere, but not the qualifying performances of the competition.
That is it. You cut out right at the end there, but we're on board now with Christopher Tomlin as he skids it into the pits. We're pretty much done. It is ready to go. Qualifying done. Neal is the top, as you said. Cade Donnelly is second. I just need to get one more little thing up. So let me just press that one there. And that way I can see that chat. We're good to go. And as I say that, the field does get ready and my timing monitor changes completely. If you were watching us during the week, I promised a new PC by now, but unfortunately that did not work. It's being sent back to the manufacturer and they're making it again for me. The broadcast will look schmick. I did see a glimpse of what it will look like, so I can't wait to show you that. I'm doing some things in the background to even try and get it up to HDR level and maybe even 4K levels for you all, but we'll see how that goes.
We'll
trying. There's a lot of trying going on here, and like I said, I've got some camera stuff I'm working on. It's going to be pretty cool. But Barry Neal leads the pack away tonight. We've got Cade Donnelly next to him. Aiden Schultz, a very good effort there in third. Peter Jones in fourth. Gary Wellman up the top there in fifth. Good old D-Mac in sixth. Jay Schultz, the second Schultz on the grid, is seventh. Justin Witcher is in eighth. Sean Hart, last week's podium getter, ninth. Jamie Nankervis in 10th. Adam Malone, 11th. Christopher Finlay, 12th. Greg Spencer, 13th. Tom Pritchard, 14th. Dwayne Priest in 15th. Troy Davidson in 16th. Aaron Dillon in 17th. Ruben Phelps, 18th. Raymond Yeager, all the way down in number 19th tonight at Michigan International Speedway. And Todd Maxfield, one of those current championship frontrunners, in 20th. Peter Matson in 21st. Noddy Tompkins in 22nd. Troy Morton's in 23rd, Philip Howe in 24th, Christopher Tomlin in 25th, Adam Stoneman in 26th, Stephen Hall, the crowd favourite in 27th, Ash Nessa in 28th, Peter Gretton in 29th, Brad Fenley in 30th, Chai Malo in 31st, Tim Blundell in 32nd. There's some new names here tonight. I like it. So Evan Horswell in 33rd, Tristan Cock in 34th. There is some very familiar names as well. Jake Skilton in 35th, Shannon Blackburn 36th, Nigel Patton 37th, Nicholas Walsh 38th, Aaron Bryan 39th, Craig Roffey 40th, Kim Roffey right next door in 41st, Stuart Anderson 42nd, and Andy Barber rounds out the field in 43rd position as Peter Jones, who's currently sitting right up the front of the grid there. He says in Facebook chat, "Let's go. Have a great telecast, lads. We will. Don't worry. You have a good race." What do you expect from tonight, Mr. Rankin?
To be perfectly honest, there's a couple things that I'm actually expecting from tonight. One of the biggest ones is that the very high lane going into turn 1 and 2, the very outside lane, if you turn in from the top rope, it don't turn. So you're going to have to not turn in from the very specific top rope. You're going to have to be half a slot down. And it doesn't take much, but it does take a little bit down the track to sort of settle yourself in. Pack racing. I mean, when don't we have pack racing? That's just a series staple here. Lane swapping, transitioning through the mid part of the corner. The bottom side of the corner should drift up on the exit, so it's about crossing yourself over nice and simply on the exit. Depending upon how these guys get the cars turned in, we're going to have a delayed start too with the amount of time that we're spending rolling off pit lanes. We've actually got a little bit of extra time here. Pit stops. This is actually, to be perfectly honest with you, I think one of the trickier pit stops to get right, because generally this is one of the few tracks that you expect pack racing on, and you expect pack racing quite consistently. The other tracks that you sort of expect it are normally the super speedways, the Daytona, Talladega. They have pit lane entries designed to handle large packs of cars all coming to pit lanes. So they can just fan out, find their space on the way down in the pit lane. Michigan is actually quite a tight pit lane. There is sort of 2 lanes there. There's a little bit of dashing, probably quite easily enough for 4 cars wide to go in there if everyone's minding their P's and Q's. I don't expect that. I expect the first round of green flag stops to cause an issue here tonight.
Wow, you're calling action here already as I'm sitting here playing with cameras, seeing what I can and can't move. But that's okay. Look, I would be shocked. Yeah, like we always see some kind of action. I've got Barry Neal at the front who has Cade Donnelly next to him. Anything can happen with that little mixture at the front. But what do you... Scotty, this championship is so open. You've got Raymond Yeager down the back. You've got Justin Witcher up the front. You've got Todd Maxwell down the middle there as well. What do you do? What do you do tonight? Are you expecting just these guys to hang back and do the midfield crawl as they do, mid-race crawl as they do?
Well, have a look at a few guys that are trying a little bit of a different tack. Have a look at the Roffies from Middle Split Racing. They've not really had a successful couple of weeks. So normally with NASCAR, you have 2 different kinds of strategies. You either want to be at the front and you want to be ahead of where the wreck is out on track, or you want to be behind it and you want to have all the time in the world to slow up for it. Craig Roffey in particular, again, another driver who's had some opportunities. He's found ways to get involved in these mid-race cautions, in the mid-race door banging.
Ready to go though, Scotty.
That's it.
No more delay. Barry Neal has the field and he is ready to go. When will he jump? We're in the zone. I assume we're using zones tonight? No, we're not.
I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to do some looking up. They did get added halfway through the season. Big check up in the back of the pack was a call from Nicholas Walsh on the team radios, but it's Barry Neal gets it underway from the front of the grid. Everyone's still there. Everyone's still racing. And with 43 cars, it's a full server, a full grid. And they make their way through turn number 1 for the first time tonight.
That's it. And we look like we're 3 or 4 wide if you look a little bit back there. But these guys have made it through the first half a lap pretty good. You see Cade getting down. No, it's just Gary Willman's popped up behind Barry Neal. Cade's actually not as far up as he was. He's dropped 2 spots here, just sitting behind Aiden Schultz. But Gary Wallman gets the Sim boys to the front just about, except for Barry Neal as he gets around the outside of Barry Neal with help of Aiden Schultz pushing him around and Cade Donnelly helping in that line as well. We see the one, the only Justin Wincher there. Just coming up behind there, Barry Neal finds himself with no supports and goes buckling back through the field. One spot in the end of that. I thought he was going to go back a bit further there, but Aiden Schultz takes it down the front to take the lead of the race as we come around to finish the second lap of the race. Yes?
Here's the thing, Wilco. You'd
Yes.
think a big, lovable Kiwi driver in the Aotearoa car, he'd have some support. He's got no one. Nobody wants to be his friend tonight.
Barry Neal is just going further and further down the field. Everyone's jumping out from behind him whenever they get close. We've got Skypoint Racing Car of Jai Schultz sitting behind him right now. But even he's looking like getting around him at the moment. So I don't know whether it's tactics or what this is. But Kate Donnelly makes a shove down the inside of one and only Aiden Schultz to take the race lead. Just about him and Gary Wellman want to control this pack. Justin Witcher does not want that to happen. We're nearly 5 wide.
Have a look at the fan out. Have a look at the fan out. So the real strength of the Michigan Motor Speedway. Oh my God, taking to the apron this early. Kate Donnelly is not wanting to offer any drafting assistance to anyone down on that mid lane. He really wants to control it. What he's actually done is he's actually left Gary Wellman without a whole bunch of support, because normally what will happen is somebody will go around the bottom side, they'll slide up in front, a run will be triggered towards the top side of the track. The top side, it's your momentum lane. That's where the faster cars are going. They can keep more speed up in the corners. They're not scrubbing off as much going through. So generally down the straights, your runs will come there. We've gone from a track last week that had no straight to a track this week that has a back straight. Oh, there's one on the fence.
One in the fence.
I
Stephen
think
Hall,
it was Nick Walsh. Yeah, there was one real high. It might have been Nick Walsh. Is that Aaron Bryan? I think it's Aaron Bryan, actually. It's on that top groove. It's the car that was in that top groove right there.
Oh, yeah, here we
Pace
go.
car's out.
There is a full course caution. So we've got a couple cars here. Adam Stoneman is one of the ones that have been caught up in this. Well, let's see back and let's go back and find out exactly where he was caught up in this little fiasco that has brought out the first caution of the race. And as we go back, he is bouncing around. Let's go back a bit further than that. It had all already happened at this stage for it is Stephen Hall, I think. There, it's the crowd favourite, Stephen Hall. Let's go on board with not on board. Let's go have a look.
The Combox favourite, not just the crowd favourite. He's the Combox favourite, Stephen Hall.
So he's gone around. Let's go the chopper. I can see there.
Gentleman Sim Racing Club car on the bottom side. That'll be Peter Matson.
Peter Matson has had something happen there. He's gone awfully right all of a sudden. Is there a net code there?
No, I would just say he's come in and the car is just understeered straight up the track. So there's two potential things that can be. Have a look at that. At this point in time, right there where the camera is right now, they're actually 4 wide. Peter Matson would not have a call saying that he's 4 wide, though. His spotter at this stage would be telling him he's 3 wide. He's 3 wide. Now he might have a call for 4 wide, maybe. So he doesn't know that the car is immediately on his outside. He's got a car directly in front of him feeding dirty air. His aero splitter on the front end of that car is not creating anywhere near the level of grip. IndyCar racing, that's exactly what this is. Everyone's fanning out. Car pushes up the track. Car collects the car immediately above him. And Stevie Hall is, well, he's the kind of passenger that he didn't order a taxi, but he's been escorted a taxi to the fence.
And you know what? Peter Matson's got out of that. Oh, no, there we go. We just got a bit of a crumple there. But otherwise, he'd actually ended up pretty well out of that. As we see the Code 9 car, eSports car, just do some pretty hectic things there and ending up hitting the roof, ground, back of the car, everything like that all at once. And
unfortunately, that's actually one of our new entrants here tonight as well, which is Adam Stoneman. That's a little bit disappointing for him, but sometimes
place, wrong time, back of the pack. That's not much you can do about that, unfortunately.
And I mean, he's in the middle groove. He can't go high. He cannot go any lower than he is as well, and he's held his line quite well. Like he's done nothing wrong there. That's just settling these things in. We're 5 laps in, so tires were up to temperature. I'd say Peter Matson's just misjudged the corner entry. I mean, he's definitely the car at fault there, hands down. He'll be copping a penalty in the post-race show, but look, that's racing. There is one of the most difficult things that I don't think people at home can really understand is the way that these cars handle differently. in a race circumstance, and that's why I reference IndyCar a lot. In sort of a NASCAR stock car, they handle relatively close, but the difference is the stock cars, they don't really deal with wash all that badly. Yeah, it exists. Yeah, it definitely has a factor, but it's not as much of a factor as it is with any other oval style car. When you go to an IndyCar, and that's what a lot of the time these V8 supercars do tend to drive like on the oval, they're relying on the downforce. They're relying on that front splitter to keep the nose of that car pressed down, because when they're entering the corners, they're doing 280 kilometers an hour, 260, 280 kilometers an hour. That is where all of their grip is coming from. Mechanical grip is not going to help you at that point. You've got to keep the nose of the car pressed in. So when somebody's feeding you dirty air and you lose, say, 25, 30, 40%, 50%, somewhere in that realm of downforce, it's going to have a significant effect on the way the car drives, let alone, in that instance, Matt O is sort of a little bit caught out because he's got aero pockets underneath him, from a car underneath him and a car on the outside. So effectively, any skirting downforce that or wheel well downforce that may be assisting that car is probably being washed out as well. So they're smaller amounts of downforce, those numbers, but they are still something.
As we get ready to go racing again, this pack needs to bunch up at the back. They're just lagging a bit at the back. We've got a lot of strategy to talk about in a sec, Scotty, but Aiden Schultz has taken him away. He's leading Justin Witcher off the line. He's got Jai Schultz in behind him. The Schultzes are 1-2 right now, battling it out for the top Schultz of the league at the moment, with the Sky Point getting in there to help from Pritchard by the look of it. But these guys are off and racing again. Aiden's got a great jump here, but he's got up to go to the high line now, as there's a little bit of wayward action in the background there. But
oh, great swap over. Great swap by Witcher. He recognized that he wanted to get to the front. What the issue was, he needed to time that perfectly. So that's, again, IndyCar style move. Why? You follow the cars ahead until the last possible moment. Then you see the car ahead of you pull out. Well, he's going to pull himself half, 3/4 of a car length up alongside the car that he's attempting to overtake. You actually need that third car to get the move done, because without that third car, you can't chop off the air from the lead car. You can't really control the pack. So it's the third car that generally gets the move done on the leader, not the second car.
Excellent. So what I was trying to allude to then, we've got the top 8 cars have not pitted. There's probably about 10 cars out there that did not pit in that caution. Everyone else...
Oh, it's rubbing down the middle of the pack as well, and Raymond Yeager's around it. There was rubbing coming off of turn 1 and 2. It was the car in about 37th position. It was slightly in front of Raymond Yeager. It was Ash Nessa, and I don't know who it was. Somebody's down on the apron, and it was Jamie Nankervis.
That's not a name we want to hear involved in something.
No, it was Peter Gretton. It was Peter Gretton. My apologies. It was Peter Gretton.
There we go.
He's making his way to pit lane.
Now. That's interesting call for him to pits now. He must have a little bit of damage there. I really want to...
No, that'll be a black flag. So he's probably overtaken somebody to the low side of them. There was a few checkups in the middle of the pack. Look at the angry pack!
There is Sim Boys. There is... Look at these guys at the front. Jamie Nankervis and Ruben Phelps in a... New colours, Ruben. I haven't seen Ruben in this kind of colours before. This is really good to see.
Sorry, my apologies. I heard Jamie Nankervis on the radio. He's doing a phenomenal job, I think. This is the best I've ever seen Jamie Nankervis run, actually. And I think this is a really switched on pit strategy call. And Ruben Phelps...
Fire protection mob. There you go. Look at this. And we've got... Look at that. You've got... there was a Southern Cross and then the Essential team side by side. Team racing. Love to see it. Yeah, so quickly...
Well, Wilco, they've essentially fired themselves into the lead is what they've done.
Ooh, look at that. And Sky Point now jumping down the inside there. The number 91 of Tom Pritchard to make it 3 wide. He wants the lead. Sim Boys are hedging their bets. They're behind about every car on the race here at the moment.
Oh! A little bit sketchy, and that's Nankervis again trying to hang on to a little bit of track position. He's out of draft support here in the middle groove. It will run away from him. It'll be the low lane that's a lot quicker, and that's why Aiden Schultz is sweeping up off the bottom. Opens the corner up. He wants to force these guys to fight themselves, because whilst ever they're fighting themselves, they're not overtaking him.
That is it. So, yeah, what we were trying to get to before, about 10 cars stayed out this front group. The leading car that has actually pitted, as the O2 of Darren McKenzie gets a little close to the... Yes, that car we're just about to talk about, Cade Donnelly, currently leading this race of the cars that have pitted, which is it was a 7-second pit stop in the box, so 7 seconds of fuel. He's got less, he's got to do less later on than everyone else. There's some interesting times down the bottom. So we were talking about Peter Jones before, right up the front. He's now right down the back. He took, oh no, he had a 7.6 seconds. So I don't know what's happened there, but there's a few 42-second and 43-second ones. The Roffies both took 33 and 43 seconds. So I don't know if there's a penalty involved in that, or they might have got a bit of contact there at some stage as well and just got some damage fixed.
So if you want to hang out at the back, so remember we were talking about their starting strategy. If you have a look at the qualifying times for both of the Roffies, they're 5 and 10 seconds off the pace. Now, there is no minimum qualifying rule, remember? Because there's, as of last week, they instituted the pre-qualifying to get into the server. This is one of the things that we're talking about was minimum speed, right? They're still in the server, so it doesn't effectively matter. Why they've stayed on pit lane is they want to continue this strategy of, we're just going to chill out at the back.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you stay on pit road, that's the best way to do it. You just sit in your box. You just wait for everyone else to trundle on past. You stay on the lead lap. Yeah, you're good to go.
Because you will get that back anyway, because you're going to go up behind the pace car to start the race again. Let's go back up the front where everything is happening up the front. Kate Donnelly is wanting to get back to that lead because he has that fuel advantage, that pit box advantage, which will make a difference at some stage during this race. Let's see if we can hold on to it. As we see Sky Point, Simboys, Sky Point down the inside, and we've got the 3 Southern Cross Racing, Southern Star Racing around the outside there as well. Everyone wants to be up the front of this track except for the Roffies. Roffies want to be down the back, which is, I would take that strategy over everything else right now. These guys are battling it.
Raymond Yeager's gone with the alternate strategy as well. And I mean, that's something you've got to consider. Remember, he's a series leader. Why would you want to be hanging out down the back end of this pack? It just seems crazy. You're a race car driver. You're out here to go racing. He is out here to go racing. He just doesn't want to spend all that energy racing right now when he can save it up to go racing at the tail end of the race when it really, really matters. It's kind of like the last hour of Bathurst. Buy yourself the famous Mark Scape strategy, or is it Larco strategy? Buy yourself a ticket to the end of the motor race. That is exactly what this strategy is all about. Protect that car. Get a safety car at a critical point in time. Be not too far back. But the problem is, as this series has progressed, we've actually been getting longer and longer green flag runs. Raymond Yeager, what do you think about that? No? You're too busy focusing on the track ahead of you? Well, good. Keep your head forward, mate. Keep driving.
That is Raymond Yeager. Look at the whole pack. Everyone is within 3.5 seconds of the leader right now. Raymond Yeager's even, look at the gap he's got to the guys in front of him there. Well, I think he's Aaron
chilling.
Bryan. I'm trying to go on board to hear his throttle management, because I'm thinking that not only has he now got a fuel advantage, but he's also saving fuel back there in that pack. So he'll get a bonus fuel advantage towards the end of the race there, which is a great little strategy.
And critically, I think he's one of the only cars. So what happens with caution strategy is you can actually cycle back through the pit lane. Everyone came down under the first time that the pit lane was open underneath that safety car. He cycled back through. So that would be about, I'd say 500 mils, 300 to 500 mils worth of extra fuel that you would burn catching back up to that safety car. He saved that by coming back down and refilling that tank. The only problem is, I think he might need to pay his fuel man probably an extra, give him a tip on the side if he wins this race.
Yeah, definitely. Brad Fenley, interestingly enough, is someone else who did that same thing. So well done to him. Very keen to see how this plays out at the end of the race. Hopefully we see the end of the race. If you're watching our broadcast during the week, you'll see we didn't actually see the end of the race because it was too dark. Go check out that on the YouTube channel. Anscar Thunder doing a great job. Let's go the front of this pack. Aiden Schultz, Jamie Nankervis. We talked about him. Carl's favourite. He always loves a bit of Jamie Nankervis. I wish he was here to be calling this at the front of this pack, trying to hold them to 2 lanes, and there's every other lane trying to appear right behind him. As Ruben Phelps gets very close there to that yellow car. Is that Aaron Dillon, or is it another one of those cars?
No, that's not Aaron Dillon. No, yeah. That's Noddy Tompkins.
Wow.
Go, Noddy!
Go, Noddy. Look at this stuff. I love to see it.
What's the guy that lived with Noddy? You remember the kids show Noddy?
Yeah, I don't know Noddy.
I can't remember.
I don't know that much though.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up now. That's gonna bother me. But going back to the.
I was gonna say, while you look at that, I've got the championship table up here, because usually when I say that we get a caution. So quickly going to that, while you decide to look up what you want to look up. Justin Witcher and Raymond Yeager lead this championship 12 points apart. Justin Witcher on top, Raymond Yeager second, Troy Davison third, further 11 point back, 23 off the lead. Gary Wellman, who we do see up the front here as well, he is a further 9 points back, 26 more points back to the name we've said a couple of times as well tonight, but he's been caught up in for the wrong reasons. Nicholas Walsh. Adam Malone is another 4 points back, and then four more points back to Greg Spencer. Aiden Schultz, who's doing a great job in this race, minus 3 points on that next spot. As we watch Noddy doing a great job at the front of this track. I love it. Craig Roffey, Jai Schultz is just 1 point further back. Brad Fenley, who we talked about, is on that extra strategy like Raymond Yeager at the moment. He's only 4 points further back on that. Todd Maxwell is another 4 points further back. And Craig Roffey is the 12th person for this grid, another 2 points back. And then, it's 2 points back to Christopher Finlay, 2 points to Sean Hart, 2 points to Cade Donnelly. And Ruben Phelps is only 1 point further back from that. Jamie Nankervis just behind Ruben Phelps as well. Kim Roffey all in there. Some great names in this racing pack.
Big ears. That's him.
Big
ears. Not even big ears. Oh, that was going to bother me all night.
Oh, at least we know now. I feel better as we see Nigel Patton working his way to the front of this pack. Well done. And who's that? 812. That is Che Malau. We haven't had that name.
Che Malau. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
This is good to see. Everyone's getting a bit of a crack at it tonight. Michigan International Speedway putting it on. There's another little car there on the outside that's sneaking up. Is that Jake Skilton?
We call this Skilton. We're gonna have to call this the best of series, the Michigan Motor Speedway best of.
And that's even Philip Howes up there as well in the pack. Look at this. Everyone's there.
This is crazy. I've never seen this many cars lead a motor race ever.
No, exactly. And they're still only 3.5 seconds from Peter Jones up to the front. So Peter Jones is obviously doing that strategy of, oh no, he's 7 seconds back. He's fallen off the back. Ash Nessa's 37th. 3.9 seconds off the lead right now.
The pack. Yep.
So that is how crazy it is. Let's see if the blimp can show us any better. No, it's going to show the very wrong section of the track where there is no one. But this is the thing. We've been showing it last couple of weeks where they spread out. They are not spread out tonight. They are 3 wide, sometimes 4 wide when they can. There is 3 distinct lines. As one of the sim boys goes down inside of, I think that's Philip Howe there to... No, he's gone back to make a 3-line again. So
and the most important thing that I just saw out of that last camera shot was the we're 4 wide. We're 4 wide. We're 4 wide, and we're still shoving the nose down the inside. Are you kidding me? Look, that's an Arundel move if ever I've seen one. But man,
here we go. Nigel wants a piece of this as well. Oh, and on the outside there, Che wants this. There is so many names in this. We just talked about Jamie Nankervis and Ruben Phelps. They've decided to pull back a little bit. They're just a couple back from the front. But Nigel Patton is my private seller on the front of his car. He wants this. You can see him trying to... Oh, we've got contact. Southern Star into Southern Star. And we have spin. That is Aiden Schultz's night pretty much over. No.
Oh, my word. It's still going on. It's still
massive.
going on.
That was... Oh, well, let's have a look. Let's go instant replay on that one. Let's go to the chopper. The chopper tells all. And let's slow this one down because it is a bump.
It's on Aaron Dillon.
Aaron Dillon has bumped him, which has put D-Mac into Schultz. And then from there, Schultz is just... We talk about that thick pack. It has just ruined a whole heap of people's races, as we can see right there, because you've got nowhere to go. There's 3 seconds to the back of the pack.
We've seen big ones. We have seen the big one before.
Another Southern Star car caught up in it as well. Sorry. I know it's a simple.
We have never, ever, that is the first time we have ever seen the big one happen at the front of the pack, 26 laps into a race. This is going to eliminate, I would say, half the field. Oh. We're about to lose 21 cars.
Is that Yeager?
That was Raymond Yeager.
Wow.
And I heard him on the radio. He said, you've got to slow down. I think he tried. I think he absolutely tried to get away from that one. But he had somebody
in the rear too. That's what it is.
He's had somebody immediately behind him. So this is the biggest issue right now, and you're not going to get a good shot of it. But Raymond Yeager's seen something happening up ahead, and he's trying to slow down. But when you want to slow down, you've got to watch your
There it
mirror.
is.
You've
There's
got to
a
watch
bump.
ahead of you at the same time. There's a car coming up from behind him that has not seen a thing. I have a feeling it's Steve Hall, and his cockpit shot is going to show you he sees nothing. Guarantee it.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit. Let's find this car. It's 81. Give me on board with 81, please. 81's just there. It's below 90. Let's go to the gyro and
Tim Blundell. Sorry, my apologies. So Tim starts seeing. He's got no chance to react.
Twice.
He's got no chance to react, though.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, we're talking about 3 seconds front to back. And this is what happens when you've only got 3 seconds from front to back. When the big one happens at the front, it's going to take out a chunk of the field. Let's just go on the chopper here with... let's just have a look at it in real time from the chopper.
So the accident would have happened about now.
Yeah.
Right about now is when it kicks off. So
And
they're
look-
still full throttle, still full throttle, still full throttle, still full throttle, still full throttle. Oh no. Oh
Yeah,
no.
you see him.
And you can see Raymond Yeager reacts at the
Oh.
first possible, and look at Yeager's brake lights. On, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, because he sees he cannot slow down. He cannot slow down because Tim Blundell is right there. If he keeps on the brakes, Blundell just slams straight into the rear of him. So he has to lift off the brakes and hope that Blundell starts to slow so he can get back on the brakes.
Yeah, we need to go back to find out what's happening with it. But this is Finlay's car. So Brad was the one who almost... I think he gave the 81 a bit of a nudge there as well to hit Yeager the second time. But I think it was more netcode than anything else.
And this is why you've got to get your eyes up. As you can see, Fenley's had a wiggle on the brakes,
Yeah.
which is so it's
Yeah.
this constant inner. Well done,
He's
well
done.
done, Brad Fenley.
Let's go back to the front of the grid as we watch the cars get away there, the middle split boys. Wow. Okay.
Yeager's done. Yeager is done.
Yeah, I figured he probably would be close to it. They would have broken some damage. Oh, sorry, broken some steering, I think. Nicholas?
I was more concerned. You can drive the thing with bent steering. You absolutely can
Yeah.
drive the thing with bent steering. It's the engine that's an issue because you got to remember we're doing 300 kilometers an
Yep.
hour. If you've got engine damage, speak of the devil. Raymond Yeager in the combox. Ray, difficult one. But there's a couple of key factors I think there. It's a learning experience because it is tough. It is close. We were just talking. We've got 38 cars covered by 3 seconds. You've got to win an accident like that. You at all times when you're in pack racing, and when you are racing full stop, and when you're on the road in real life as well, get your eyes as far forward as you possibly can. Do not react to the car in front of you. You've got to react to the car. When you're racing at 300 kilometers an hour, it's going to be the car 15 ahead of you if you can see him.
Yeah, look, unfortunately, yeah, some blokes don't know that, unfortunately, and look, I reacted as soon as I saw it happening, and unfortunately for me, I couldn't get on the brakes, otherwise the bloke behind me was just going to run me over, and I'd have been in the same wreck anyway, so I had to try and I broke, I slowed up, I got back on not on the throttle, but I got off the brakes because he wasn't slowing down. I just had to hope he would slow down. Didn't happen. He got into me, I went sideways, I went into the pack. She's dead, man. 25 minutes damage, it's over.
It's a little bit tricky. I mean, race is going to get back underway at this point in time. I'm seeing 26 cars, it looks like, still on the lead lap, so we have lost about half the field. Aaron Dillon's going to get the jump and get away here, so we'll get back to the racing momentarily, but I think
You
it's
are
obviously...
on replay mode, I think. We're already racing here. Aaron Dillon, he's out in front with Darren D-Mac alongside him. We're lapping. But yeah.
But we actually, your brake lights there, I actually noticed they were a bit like a strobe light in front of the car behind you, so we could tell that you were trying to get on the brakes. But it's... Look, I mean, let's instead of turning it into a disheartening thing, let's go, all right, mistakes now happen. How do we learn from this? How do we improve as drivers? I'm now a citizen that's watching this motor race. What lessons can I take away from this, not only for driving out on the road, but for racing in the sim as well?
No, it's pretty much like you said, mate. It's easy to get trapped into just looking at what's directly in front of you, and if you do that, it's too late. You need to be looking as far ahead as you possibly can so that you can react as soon as you can. And and then you've got your best chance of missing those wrecks. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but it's just disappointing.
Yep. So a couple things that I'd be adding to anyone that is watching along at home, anyone that is a part of the league, and anyone that is obviously a road user as well. There's a reason that we do these sorts of things. There's a reason we do a shoulder check before we do a laden change. We want to check if there's a guy there. That prevents accidents out on the racetrack as much as it prevents accidents on the road. There's a reason before you jump on the brakes, you should do a mirror check, and that's exactly what Raymond Yeager's done in that instance, which is why you saw his brake lights flickered. If he's on the brakes, the car behind him can only start braking and reacting to his brake lights. They're going to slow down later. It's going to cause a nose-to-tail accident, which is what ended up happening in the instance as well. Whole bunch of these sorts of things. All these things, really good skills that you can learn out on a racetrack, but you can apply them in real life, or alternatively, learn them out on the road in real life and apply them to a racetrack. Ray, tough, obviously, here at Michigan, but there was a lot of opportunities for passing. How was the car feeling before everything happened?
Oh yeah, mate. It was good, man. We were just sitting in the back, sort of minding our own business, not really interested in getting too racy until later on. It's easy to come through the field. Nige was sort of about 30th, and then in about 3 laps he was leading. So yeah, it's pretty easy to get through the field. So we were just sort of looking after our tyres because that's going to be a big thing here. Yeah, so well, hopefully Justin and Greg and Nige obviously can get a good result for us, but definitely Greg and Justin, since they're in the team this week.
All right, mate. Hard luck out this week. May result in a championship lead being handed over to somebody else, but may not at the same time. The rivals are all getting caught up. It's being... The issue, I think, this season is it's got to be sometimes a 10th place is actually just as good as a win. Particularly when you have rounds like this. You've strung good races together just about every week, and I think that's the reason why you're leading the championship is you've got the ability to put races together consistently.
Yeah, look, that's obviously the key to any championship is consistency. I think Justin's leading the championship at the moment, but I think I'm running second, so we've been pretty consistent, but and look, there is 2 drop rounds for the season as well, so I'm sure this will be one of them, but it's just frustrating, but it is what it is, and we move on to, well, I'll get back out there and try and salvage whatever points I can, but yeah, we'll move on to next week and hope for better.
At the same time, I mean, look, growing grid sizes create growth issues. You can't get to a grid size of 43 cars without the issue being, well, you've got to deal with 43 cars. Is there anything that you've adjusted in the way that you're planning and preparing for your race weeks in terms of reacting to the larger grid sizes?
Yeah, so in previous weeks, my plan was just stay up the front and just stay out of the wrecks, hope they're behind me. Tonight was different because I knew tyres were going to be a serious thing, so we were trying to save those as much as we could early so we could go hard later. But yeah, obviously that proved to be the wrong decision tonight. But look, yeah, as you said, 43 cars, there's going to be incidents, especially on this sort of track where you're 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 wide at times. Like it's hectic. So look, it's part of racing. So we deal with it and we move on.
All right, mate. You're going to jump back down and obviously support the rest of the team. I know with the Pinnacle Sports boys, it is a team endeavour. So once your day is done, and I think this happens for just about any time it does happen, touch wood, it doesn't happen many more times in the future. But you guys have a pretty unique approach. I know the Sim boys are actually quite similar. Is that if one of them drops out, you guys jump in and support the others? Yeah,
absolutely. Especially with the team championship this season, I'll definitely be in there trying to help them get the best strategy and things like that. So, yeah.
Other quick question is critical fuel number tonight. What is it?
Oh, mate, honestly, I'm not 100% sure. I think we can get around about 38 to 40 out of a tank, but I haven't actually done a full run, so I don't actually know the answer 100%.
All right, that's good. That makes it more spicy for the rest of us. So there's definitely probably only one more fuel stop to go here to get to the end. So that's the big one. That's what we've got the target on for. And all of this right now is a little bit senseless in terms of the jockeying position. Things didn't go for your way tonight here, Ray. Big shout out to your sponsors now if you want to show some appreciation, mate.
Oh yeah, I'll just shout out the league sponsors. Obviously, you blokes do an amazing job in the broadcast booth each week. We got Hot Toddies, Heating Installs, United Electrical Services, Tasmania, Witcher Electrics, Sim Racing Edge Setup Shop. Obviously, our main sponsor, My Private Seller, they make us make just running this a lot easier. So I'm sure I've missed some, but yeah, you caught me without my little cheat list. So yeah, you got me this time. Well done. I'll hopefully next time I talk to you, it'll be under better circumstances, and I'll have that little cheat list.
See, that's the thing. When you're on the podium, you're prepared to do an interview. When you're not on the podium, you're not prepared to do one.
100% correct, mate.
Mate, bit of advice: print it out, laminate it, stick it on the rig somewhere you can see it.
I usually don't have to worry because I don't get many podiums. So.
Raymond Yeager, ladies and gentlemen, series admin, and was running P2 in the championship, is attempting to chill out at the back of the field tonight before disaster strikes. We wish him the best of luck in future weeks and on to supporting his team. I think that says it all, Wilco. Speaking of saying
Dylan
it all,
and D-Mac have come together multiple times in this little pack while you guys were talking there. The back right hand or the back driver's side guard of that rear tyre of Aaron Dillon's car has got many marks on it tonight. It's the only part that's actually hit anything, but I think it's been hit about 5 or 6 times, including the time that took that accident out.
Can we get a shot of that car in the top lane that's just gone backwards? It's done a phenomenal job, actually. Welcome to our Locked On Lads cutaway car, shall we say? That's a joke. Look at that engine. There's intakes there at the front, the left. I'm sure we've got a shot at the suspension at some point that we can show. Shooting Blackburn, this is how you do it. You get back out there, you turn laps, but you do it at a safe manner, and generally the best way to let the field pass in these sorts of instances is to run that high line. So, look, it's a tricky night, and I think the biggest issue we're now going to face actually is you're going to see not just Shannon Blackburn rejoining the race, but he's just gone only 1 lap down. You're going to see the rest of the field come in, get some level of repairs, and get back out on the track, because whilst ever you're not turning laps, you are going backwards quickly. So you will see some guys certainly return to the track. I was doing a quick survey of how many cars we have left in the field.
I've got 30 on the lead lap currently.
Yeah,
that is so close to the front. These guys, mirror to mirror, 3 wide and then 2 deep, mirror to mirror. This is 42 laps in, guys, of 100. As you said before, jockeying position means nothing right now except for wasting tyre wear and wasting fuel. You can see back there, Skypoint Racing. They've got 1 at the front, but they've got 3 in line at the back there, in the middle of the pack, sorry. And then you've also got, as we talked about before, the Witcher Spencer group as well. So there's the Skypoint, and then just ahead of them, you've got those Pinnacle Esports guys who also had to go through the championship table before we got rudely interrupted by an accident.
You want to... There's a couple things I'm sort of looking at this point in time. It's sort of who's who on the list of cars that are involved. So we started the night with 43 cars. I believe all 43 took the grid. I think we may have lost one in the grid cycling, or there was an issue there with them getting their car launched. I think there was another penalty at some point early on. We lost sort of 2 cars. When that accident happened, we were about at 41 cars. We're down to 30 on the lead laps. We only lost 11, but Craig Roffey, now 18 seconds off the lead pack. Peter Matson was actually involved in our first caution night. Still out there, still running. He's in 30th. Yellow flag's out!
Yellow flag. I saw it come up in the background there. It's way down the back. I was just on board Christopher Tomlin's rear. He's got a fly now. He wants to catch the field again, get one of his 11 laps down. We've got Noddy. Noddy's slowing down tremendously. He's got damage on the rear there, damage down the side.
He's crabbing. He is crabbing.
Let's see what happened to Noddy and why he is looking like that. It's him and Philip Howe have come together.
It just looks like
and Christopher Tomlin's been taken.
Misunderstanding of lane choices. They're all sort of chasing the draft.
Once again, he is 3 wide at that stage, almost 4 wide with the overlap of Barry Neal and Christopher Tomlin there.
Yeah, but what you got to say is, what is the iRacing spotter going to say? And the issue for me is, have a look at Philip Howe coming left at the same time as Noddy's going right. So Noddy crosses that seam, that second seam from the left-hand side of the racetrack. He's crossed that. But at the same time, Philip Howe has crossed that second seam from the top side of the racetrack. This is a racing deal. Both of these guys are unaware where their competition is going. So that's Noddy Tompkins. That's his view. He has no concept of precisely where that car is. He has a general idea that there are 3 cars wide. What that says is you want to stay as left as you possibly can. You generally not want to vary out of those bottom 2 seams with the racetrack. You do that in a corner, it's probably only the bottom seam of the racetrack that I would be using in his position. He has crossed over the second seam up. He probably should be slightly lower down the track. It's a difficult one. The one car that should really know is probably Philip Howe, because he'll have vision of Noddy ahead. The difficulty for Philip is if he's trying to keep his eyes on Christopher Finlay to his right. Yeah, so you sort of want to back up probably a good 2 seconds at most. So about there, and we'll get a view of Philip Howe. Whole field are going to come down and take a top off at this point in time because we are lap 46. So there's a little bit of a bobble, and then starts coming up. But it's a pretty quick movement up the racetrack, exacerbated by the fact that Philip Howe's moving left. I guarantee you Philip Howe's eyes were looking slightly right then, so he wouldn't have noticed it.
He's come to a stop very well, though. Does he get hit again? No. Everyone seems avoiding, which is pretty. So
he's done a great job.
And
great job with the brakes.
Once he's known it's all going to happen. Let's go back to Cade at the front of the pack. Did you like that camera work? What do you reckon of that?
Oh, look, it's getting there. But it is a new story. I mean, it's like learning that you've got one of those little. I suppose probably an RC car, yeah, drone. I mean, it is the drone camera. That's what you're trying to learn to play around with. You got to go, how does this look? How do I play around with this? Got to move the stick 30 degrees to the right, not all the way to the right, to get the precise speed of motion that I want. You look like you're having fun, though.
Oh, I'm always having fun, mate. What I'm here for. That's why I'm turning up. While we've got a stop at the moment, so we've got a whole lot of people done 3 stops. Tyres. Are people doing tyres right now, you reckon? We've got to know that fuel to the end mark, don't we? We don't have that.
So I've got 2 concerns here. I've got two big concerns. Are we going to get another yellow? Well,
probably.
I would say, based upon history, yes, we are. If we're in that situation, no, I'm not taking tyres at this point in time. We talked to Raymond Yeager, and he says tyres were absolutely critical. For guys that are up towards the front end of the pack, there's 2 things they potentially could be feeling right now. They could have raced cars incredibly hard, and that means they've worn more off their tyres, which means they're in a little bit of a compromised spot. If they are, take the tyres at this point in time, no questions asked. Now, if they haven't been racing all that hard, they've saved a little bit of tyre, they're good to go in this next little period of the race. And Raymond said the biggest thing they wanted to conserve tonight was tyres. They're very, very worried about those tyres. So I would say, even if you've got a bad set of tyres on right now, you kind of got to keep them on there. You got to take the pain, because the problem is it's not gonna. It's There's sort of you sort of got to go. There's nothing you can really do. You're stuck in this position where you've only got 1 set of tires to get through the end of the race, and you need them at the end. There's no point burning them now.
Now, we talked before, Shannon Blackburn. Oh, as we jump. Kate Donnelly is out in front. Simboys 1-2. They've had a really good jump, obviously, between the 2 of them. Have done a great job to get away from the field, but that's not for nothing anyway, because Jai Schultz, Adam Malone, Troy Davis, and Barry Neal are all going to start catching them back up very soon. Shout out to Mandy Phelps, who gave us Noddy and Big Ears well before, and I forgot to mention it.
There you go, Noddy and Big. Yeah, sweet.
But yeah, unfortunately, Ruben is 3 laps down right now, but Jamie Nankervis is still sitting up there in a pretty good position right now. Just 8th place on the grid as Sean Hart makes his way just on the edge of the top 10. We can just see his car in the background there, staying away from this crazy pack at the front, as Cade tries to put a little bit of a mark on the back of Jai Schultz's car as he goes around the behind him. there and gets the wreck around to Barry Neal to push him to the lead there. These guys are going really, really good. My TV1's just not having a very good time tonight. It seems to be up high for some reason. I don't know what's going on there, but it doesn't look too bad. It's just not the one I really want to go to. So these Southern Star racing cars up the front again, which is really good to see. D-Mac is all over Kate Donnelly. There is something between D-Mac and these Simboys cars. He's put a mark. I think he's got bingo ticket. He's putting a mark on every single Simboys car he possibly can right now. Oh, as we see brake lights coming on from Aaron Dillon. Aaron Dillon there.
So what that is, so that's actually quite a good signal. So the difference between IndyCar, stock car, and V8 supercars is there's only one of the three that has a set of brake lights, and you're looking at them, right?
Yep.
What you can actually do is it's actually a symbol to the guys that are behind you. Hey, I've just caught up to the rear bumper of the car ahead. You need to check up or you're going to file into the back of me. One of the biggest things in any sort of racing like this, particularly ignore IndyCar in this instance because IndyCars don't bump draft. They don't like this style of follow drafting. They tend to try and weave out and about and pick out and take the run somewhere. But between stock cars and these guys is you want to be having two cars connected. The problem is to get two cars to stay connected is you've got to check up. Now, if you're third in the queue, you don't want to be connected to the second car in the queue. So, for example, let's have a look at that bottom groove. If we get a better shot sort of it, we'll sort of talk about it. Barry Neal's first in the queue. Then you got Cade Donnelly immediately behind him and Aaron Dillon. So the two Simboys cars. See how Aaron Dillon's not quite on Cade Donnelly's rear bumper? What that is if Cade Donnelly gets up and makes a bump draft, he will lift the rear end of Barry Neal's car slightly off the ground or slightly shove him forward. If somebody's also doing that to Cade Donnelly at the same time, it's impossible for Cade to control how his car is making contact with the rear end of Barry Neal's car. And the problem is you'll just cause a wreck straight away. So Aaron will be on the brake lights warning the guys behind him, hey, I've caught the car ahead of me. You need to make sure that you're ready for the checkup as well. So the problem is in stock cars, you're just looking for the smallest kind of reaction speed of the car ahead. If they change their speed slightly, you're going to lift out of the throttle, basically.
As Jamie Nankervis just down the inside there, he doesn't like the pace that Nigel Patton, who's worked his way up to the front yet again, he just tries to dive down the inside there instead of hitting him in the rear. But we've gone three wide again at the front as Dillon decides to come around the outside of this Nigel Patton and Jamie Nankervis bunch. And Jamie really wants to get inside and get to the front of this pack again. Doesn't have Ruben Phelps running with him anymore. Being a lap down for Ruben. 3 laps down for Ruben.
Big old shove. Big old shove on the rear bumper of Nigel Patton. Good job, Jamie Nankervis. That, ladies and gentlemen, you saw it. That is a bump draft. That is exactly what a bump draft looks like for these cars. Stock cars,
that's not a bump draft. That is very bad.
That's the second big one of the night.
And we're gonna. Oh, he's still rolling. He's still rolling. Look out, everyone! Get off the track. As that car pulls up nicely, indeed. Well done, Peter Jones, to avoid all that. Let's go back and have a look at what happened just then.
Who's at fault here? This was an odd one. Just watching it live, it was odd.
So it's D-Mac is down the bottom. Let's
so
go to the chopper.
D-Mac is definitely down the bottom, but he's wandered up out of the bottom groove.
Left inside on the seam. Nigel's almost come down into him.
That's another racing deal, to be perfectly honest. The adjustment is really, really slight. I need to have a look at the corner exit. Where does D-Mac go initially on the corner exit, and how does Nigel react to him? So Nigel's actually come down off the corner. So have a look. So watch your seam markings right there. You're looking for those black lines. That's your reference point. That's what these drivers are looking at to sort of give them an idea of where they are. So Nigel wiggles in the corner. He starts trying to come down because he wants to shorten the track. So then he goes, okay, that's not going to work. D-Mac's sort of there. Not really much I can really do. So then he comes up a little bit. Now, if you're right there, they're both in the same groove. And Darren kind of realizes it. And he actually holds that seam. The problem is with the curvature of the front stretch, it's not precisely straight. And I would say Nigel's just got a little bit of steering input because your steering wheel's not straight at this point. Have a look at how much steering wheel input it is.
This is
Say a
not Nigel.
5 to 10 degrees. So if this is Darren McKenzie, that's still fine. That tells you all you need to know. He's going effectively parallel with the track at this point in time, and he's still got steering lock, right? He's got steering input. Sorry, not steering lock. Steering lock's the wrong term here. But Nigel might have about the same. So it is really tough to tell. I would say, looking at that is probably going to be the one of the ones they might actually rule on as a racing incident, because neither driver's really changing lanes. It's just a tricky. Theoretically, Darren should be further down the track. Theoretically, but he's not, and Nigel can see him. So maybe it's probably more on Nigel in that case. Nigel's got to make the adjustment to go slightly higher. And at this point, the cars are so close together. iRacing, the way that the iRacing hitboxes work, it just sort of pulls them sort of into each other. So there's nothing they can do. So it's too late at this point.
Yep. And then, unfortunately, Aaron Dillon, who's had a few incidents tonight. There's the ground. There's the roof. As we go around and around and around and around.
Probably not what's going through his mind right now, but what went through mine was, whee!
As he crosses the line there, a lap 56. Locked on Lads TV on the bonnet there, looking mighty fine. Look at that. What sponsorship deal that is. So I want to have, what's the gearbox? Look at these cars coming through at this stage. Gary Wellman, how does he go passing?
That's Kim Roffey as well, and Aaron Bryan's just down there that we're looking at as well. Gary's in a tough position at this point in time.
We haven't lost too many cars for that being at the front of the pack again. Luckily, everyone sort of stayed high. Oh, these guys are going to go close though, but not quite get there. Yeah, like 91. That is Tom Pritchard has done a great job there of missing a rolling car as well.
No, sorry, it was the 81. It was actually the 81. So that's Blundell, who was the car that was following Raymond Yeager in the earlier incident. So he has learned out of that. That's the good thing to notice. There's immediate adjustment.
Again. We're probably about to jump. We look at these cautions too long. Sorry, everyone. We didn't even see who stopped, but Jamie Nankervis has only stopped twice, which is very interesting. His last time he stopped was 10 laps ago, which was the caution before this. Brad Fenley jumps up to the front, doesn't take a stop. He's on 11 lap stint as well. As we go racing, Jamie Nankervis has the grid. Barry Neal gets right up on his rear. We're in what is the jump zone, and he goes right at the end of it. We are green. Barry Neal is going to get up past Brad Fenley. He might even get enough to jump up into the top line here. But Jamie Nankervis has once again proved it's a great start. Got the Southern Star Racing car there. Who's that? 02. That is D-Mac getting down the inside. You've got a very banged up Dwayne Pierce in behind that.
Dwayne Priest, yeah.
Priest. As Jamie Nankervis loses that momentum and the Barry Neal and D-Mac go to the front again. Barry Neal doing a great job. Commentator's curse hopefully doesn't happen. 57 laps into 100. We've talked about him at the start of the night, how he needed to have a good race tonight, and he is having a good race. He dropped back, and he dropped out of the action for a while. But with 42 laps to go, he is up the front, ready to go. You can see back there, Gary Willman all over the back of Sean Hart.
Wilco, you can't do that, mate. You don't do that. You've just... I don't want to have to talk to Barry Neal if something happens now.
Nothing will happen. I've called it out. Nothing will happen.
Mate, I don't trust that for a moment. I'm
going to do it again. We've got a couple laps apiece here. We're going to go through the teams championship. Pinnacle Esports is on 79 points. No, that's how many they got out of the last race. They're on 412 points. Got a good, healthy lead over Simboys. Southern Stars Esports. They'll keep on getting it wrong tonight, but they're in third place. Skypoint Racing in fourth. Middle Split Racing in fifth. Momentum Sim Racing in sixth. Team, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club in that place. And the next Southern Cross Racing. Southern Cross Racing. That's why I'm getting it wrong. And then Code 9 Esports behind them, and Passion Sim Racing is on 0. So that is the team championships right now, as Barry Neal takes the lead with Who is that right behind him? That's Justin Witcher. Ready to go. He's ready to pounce.
When all hell breaks loose in a race, who are you going to call? It's Justin Witcher.
It is. Now, just a quick one. Best lap times of the night. We're looking at 39.3s from Brad Fenley, 39.6s from Dwayne Priest, 39.5s from D-Mac. They're currently doing 40.3s. Justin Witcher's doing the only person in the 39s right now, except for Greg Spencer, both of them. Oh, look, Jai Schultz is down there as well. Jai Schultz is doing a run at the moment. I think they've taken tyres. What do you reckon on that call?
Oh, I mean, we're in the second half of the race. So, look, if they can make it home from here. Now, the way that Witcher is driving says to me that they cannot make it from here. So why would he then be making a play towards the front end of the town? If they get another caution from here, we are now within range. We are now past that critical lap number. Remember what Raymond Yeager said when he was in the booth earlier on, 38 to 40. We are now 40 laps, 39 and a half laps from home. So
it's
if a
all
caution
track
flies
position
from
now, isn't
here,
it?
yep, it is a track position race. That's why you're seeing Justin Witcher play to the front. We need to go through the retirements list because this pack has been thinned out now.
25 cars are left on the lead lap just as you go into 5 seconds off the lead between front and back on the lead lap, by the way.
Yep, and Troy Mortensen, your first car off the lead lap, 1 lap down. We'll get a lucky dog should another caution fall. Oh!
Who is that? That's the Southern... Aiden?
Are they scrubbing against the wall?
It is Aiden. He's out there 28 laps down just trying to get as many points as he can, which is fair enough. And he stayed high, and he's let the whole 5 second field get past. That's okay. But we're nearly 4 wide at the front. Yeah, keep on going through that retirement list. Let us know what's going on.
Troy Mortensen, 1 lap down, 2 laps down, Tristan Koch, 3 laps down, Ruben Phelps, and now Aaron Dillon. Aaron Dillon picked up a penalty on the last restart. He had to let somebody by in the queue. I'm not 100% sure who it was. Somebody had to come past him in the queue. Didn't do so before the green flag flew. Gets a penalty for that. He is now at 4 laps down because I believe he might still be on pit lane at this point in time. It might be just rejoining the racing surface, one of the two. So he's a long, long way down.
He's still in his pit box, 2 minutes and 33 seconds. He has a lot of damage from that incident before.
Nigel Patton is now at 8 laps down. They're the next group with Shannon Blackburn. We saw both of those guys. We saw Shannon Blackburn circulating. Nigel Patton, I think he might be done. That might be all.
He was the one who's flipped. He's been 7 minutes and 30. No, that's Shannon Blackburn. 9 minutes and 9 seconds in the pit box.
Yeah,
at the
so
moment.
he's still going and still ticking. Yeah, Christopher Finlay and Christopher Tomlinson. So the two Chris's. Chris Tomlin, 10, 18 down for Christopher Finlay. Philip Howe and Steve Hall. Your next two, 19 and 24. Yeah, starting to get a little squirrely on that bottom groove. I think Barry Neal may not have taken tyres, you know. I think he may have just hang on to them just a little bit longer. Aiden Schultz back out and circulating. Evan Horst.
Barry Neal's hit Jai Schultz. Jai Schultz is in the wall. Raymond Yeager is back out in the track and gets stuck right behind him. No caution. No caution.
Yeah. No way that's Ray Yeager.
It was a number. Oh, no, there is a caution. It's all happened further on down the field. Raymond Yeager's coming in the pits right in front of him right now. Let's go back. I thought we'd got clear. Something's happened. They're both on top of the track. No, Raymond could not get away from him. And now all of a sudden, so let's have a look. The actual incident. That, to me... Let's go back a little bit.
So that's why I said I don't think Neil's taken tyres. So what's going on here is this is aero related. He's created a pocket of air that's again aero wash, and it's not working the aero on that right rear tire. He's going to come into the corner, and Barry Neal's just had no grip, or they've actually made contact at the turn-in point. So that one might actually find would be on Jai.
Yeah, it did look. Yeah. He came down, Barry Neal didn't quite go down. Maybe he just assumed that Barry was going to start turning in and didn't happen early enough. Oh no, Braden Martin is in my chat. He had his Scops debut tonight, split one. He's saying hopefully Indy goes better than Scops, so he hasn't had a good one tonight, unfortunately. But you can see here, right? So that is Raymond Yeager, right?
That is Ray Yeager. You're right. You're 100% right. I went, no, there's no way that's Raymond Yeager. No way.
So
no,
something's happened further on. These two are nose to tail, and they can hold it here at this stage. And has Jai's just come down?
No. Ray's on his rear bumper.
Yeah, he's pushed.
turned.
So Oh, and then the number 2, the Sky points come down. Has he hit someone here? I think he's hit someone, Andy Barber. He has. That's what's caused it. He's got spooked and he's come down and he's hit the 830 of Christopher Tomlin, which has then taken Gary Wellman out. And another Sim Boys racing in the 023.
That's Troy Davison? Troy Davison, yeah.
That is some big names as far as the championship goes. And now he's going to come back up and get Jai Schultz again anyway, which was the start of it all. Oh, Jai Schultz. He's been hit 3 times in this incident. And then Raymond Yeager again goes into the back of them as well. Not the night for Raymond, unfortunately. At all. Not the night for a lot of people. This is going to throw up. This is one of those races that is going to throw up an absolute unknown for a victory at this stage.
Can somebody tell Raymond Yeager that success ballast isn't supposed to be a magnet?
Oh, what a night. What a night. Yeah, Neil Pearson says that Schultz turned down. I think he did too, like I said. But like it's one of those things of was it yeah.
Here's the thing as a commentator, and it's an interesting position I've been put in a few times previously as well. I'm going to put it my way. I'm going to tell you exactly how I see it, and I'm going to tell you how the way that I see it from the way that I would react to it in car and the way that I'd be reviewing it post-race. Look, it's oftentimes we here in the commentary box are going to disagree with what the series
100%.
admits. And that is also the best part about it. I love disagreeing with people. Because at the end of the day, if we say it's one thing and they say it's another thing, that's the fun in racing. We can be both right, we can be both wrong, and the admins have the final say at the end of the night. What we can say, and this is you'll find I talk about incidents in a very particular manner, and there's a good reason that I do about it. I try and present the facts that I can see, so that at the end of the day, I want my fans out there, anyone that's listening out there, put it in the chat. Who do you think it's on? Because if you disagree with me, talk back to me, man. I learn from that. You learn from that. It creates this great discussion. It's racing. We're all passionate about it. We all make mistakes. And that is why this series is one of the best ones out there, because we see people making mistakes every single week. It's tight pack racing. These cars are designed to do 300 kilometers an hour at the end of Conrod Straight only. And here they are on an oval.
Aaron Dillon joins in chat and he's referencing there's some clowns out there tonight as
there's some clowns up here in the commentary booth.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, hi.
There always is. I thought Dwayne Priest jumped then, but he lagged back from the pace car a little bit too much and decided to catch up a little bit. As we're coming around the back of the track, this is... Look, D-Mac seems to be there and thereabouts every time. He's hit almost every Sim Boys car out there. And here he is watching Dwayne Priest take the jump. And Cade Donnelly, we're talking about that man again. Started second. He's out there in second, about to take the lead as Dwayne drops up with his a little bit of damage on the front of his car there. And Cade takes the race lead. Look at this, who's behind? Sean Hart. That's Jamie Nankervis still there. Greg Spencer's worked his way up. As Dwayne, everyone seems to be getting away from Dwayne right now. They're spreading the field. Is Greg going to put this around the outside and make it 3 wide? And Jamie Nankervis could go down the inside. No, he decides not to. He pulls out of it.
I'm a little concerned. Oh, Dwayne's taking tires there. That's cold tires. He's still not steady. He's still not steady.
He stayed out, didn't he? I know they all did. Everyone's in.
Well, I mean, we
right.
hit the critical lap number.
Yeah.
So you're coming down. You're definitely taking that set of fuel. Why I'm concerned for Dwayne is have a look at that front bumper.
Yeah,
it's pushed in, and that's not going to be pushed. Oh, D-Mac! add Kate Donnelly to the list times 10.
He's definitely got the bingo card going. Let's have a look. Troy Davison. No, who's in front? I want Sean Hart here. No. Look at that. You can see how much that's dug in, though. Dwayne's car there. Is that going to do temperature damages, or that's just aerodynamics?
I'm actually slightly worried for the power of that thing, but he's proved me wrong. So that amount of the front end being pushed in generally says you're going to have some sort of performance-based damage. It might actually be okay, but generally that amount. So he may actually be okay. Might struggle a little bit for the splitter. Actually looks okay, so it looks like it's just the front end, which that is all things okay. So there you go. Dwayne's not too bad.
And Justin Wish has made his way back up to the front again. It is a revolving door at the front, but Cade and D-Mac just are always there. Brad Fenley looking there. We got one of the Roffies. Is that a Roffie? It's a middle split racing. It's not a Roffie. Or is it Kim? He's blinking in and out there in the middle of the pack. That would be so unnerving for the 16 behind of Todd Maxfield. Yeah, look, yeah. As Craig Roffey goes around the outside, Kim needs to hope that sorts itself out, or just try and stay out of everyone's way right now.
And it's difficult because Kim may not be at fault for that. Like, somebody could have jumped onto his internet, somebody's kicked off a download, or it's just packet loss. I've actually done some research lately into the blinking, and it is actually packet loss. If your connection sort of tends to lag out a little bit, or your connection slows down, that's fine.
Ooh,
that doesn't trigger blinking.
D-Mac getting very wobbly there with Justin, which is just giving him a bit of dirty air just in front as he came down and crossed his nose and then went back up again. D-Mac looking very wobbly there. Sorry, as you go back to what you were saying. You see actually very good front end damage there on Dwayne Priest at the bottom there. How much has did it in from the high shot? But yeah, go for it.
I'd say he's got cold tyres, so critically for Dwayne Priest, he's got to be a little bit careful here trying to bring those tyres up to temperature. Hopefully it's settled now. Hopefully it's settled, because if not, he's got either overheated rear tyres or a few of the guys that have been racing with lately have been doing a lot of Formula 1 racing because it's just been added to iRacing, and they've said that you've got to bring the tyres in slowly. If you don't, you suffer quite. If you can't attack on the first two laps of the tyres. If it's the same case here, he may end up damaging those tyres quite excessively, and they may fall off quite dramatically. Hopefully she'll be all okay for Dwayne, but he's got to settle in here, and that's mission number one.
Definitely is. Sorry, having a little bit of controls. Apparently when my Xbox controller turns itself off, it goes a little bit chaos. But I'll work on that. I'll make sure we're not going. But we're on board here. Actually, let's go right on board with the gyro of Justin Witcher here as he watches these boys fight it out just below.
This is a good opportunity to do a whole lap because of where Witcher is in the pack. He's catching cars right now. So now they're 3 wide. So he recognizes that. He can see that. And he would be aware of where the momentum's coming from. Tom Pritchard wants to slide up in front of him. Have a look at the way that Witcher attacks the corner, though. Doesn't get all the way down to the bottom. At Michigan, that bottom groove in turn number 1 has slightly less banking. If you've ever driven an IndyCar here, you can feel it probably the most of any of the cars, is the IndyCar really does not like it. Gets really unsettled down there. It's the same a little bit, but not as excessive down here in turn 3 and 4. But you saw him. He sort of tried to cross back over down here in 3 and 4, just get to the bottom and hold the bottom. Now, where does he go? Where does he think about going? The lanes have stalled out a little bit. Somebody's got to take a run to the high side. Well, he kind of can't come up because Dwayne Priest is now on his outside. So where does he open the hole up? Dwayne Priest has now got a longer path around turn number 1. Does he try and slide up in front of Dwayne Priest? Is he clear yet? Well, Kate Donnelly's actually holding the bottom, so this is kind of where he really wants to be at the moment. Now he gets a little bit of a run. He sucks up. Do that shoulder check. There it is. There's a gap here in the middle. So he opens the corner up a little bit. Gets a little bit better air to the front end. He can now sort of sweep the corner and come back down. Oh, wait. No, he can't because somebody's showing the nose underneath him, and they've got to run.
That's crazy, isn't it? There is so much going on you've got to keep an eye on in this race. Like, Pritchard's on the outside. Schultz is in front of him. He's got cars everywhere. You just don't get this kind of racing anywhere but ovals, which is, like I said, we're once again, we go back to the majority of the pack is 1.6 seconds apart right now. The top 20 cars, because we've had it thinned down so much. We've got 2 cars still in the lead lap. That's Noddy Tompkins and Peter Matson, that aren't in this front pack.
Oh, Barry Neal's just got somebody in the fence! It's Greg Spencer! Oh, Greg comes back down the track. I think he's just caught Sean Hart.
Oh, I'm trying to react to this, but I can't. I might have to go back. Gary Willman's going back.
No, Sean's okay. Sean's actually okay. No, Gary Willman's a lap car. Gary Willman's actually a lap car.
I saw the damage on the front.
That was actually all triggered by Gary Wellman. Gary Wellman came on the radio and said, hey guys, I'm slow, I'm off the pace, I'm gonna stay high. Barry Neal, I believe, or the car that was on the outside, tried to react and tried to come down the track to leave that top lane open so they could get through there, and that's triggered contact, which has put somebody in the outside barrier. I don't know who was at fault. I only caught the tail end of it.
I'd have a quick one. Let's hopefully nothing else happens. Keep an eye on live for me, just in case we go There it is, right there. Oh, it's
So, yeah, it's Barry Neal's tried to dodge Gary Wellman, and he's come down.
yeah, and he's hit 8:30, is it?
Oh, hang on. I think
8:60.
this is after this. This is the second
No, so
collision.
he comes up.
There's actually
8:18.
another one. There's another one before this. There's another one before this because Barry
Okay.
Neal's already out of sequence.
8:18 catches him. And nothing's happening live, I hope.
No, not at
There
this
we
stage.
go. Greg Spencer.
So Greg's out there on the
Greg
edge of the
comes down,
marbles.
and
The
then-
Greg comes down. Yeah, so that one's actually on Greg.
Yeah.
But that's what triggered everything else that went on.
Okay.
We need to go back to live. I tell
We
you,
are
it's
live.
heating up
Yeah,
because Kate Donnelly was just upset with somebody. I have no idea who it was, but he was upset with somebody. Everyone's come out to play tonight. Hearts are being worn on sleeves.
We are 21 laps out from the end of this race. You can see from the gearbox there. Gearbox cam looking back. Barry Neal poking his nose through. He's coming back. Witcher gets up into DMAC again. DMAC's car looks absolutely amazing for hitting every single car in the top 20 tonight. He's doing a great job of just little rubbing his race and stuff.
Isn't that Kim Roffey? No, it's Craig Roffey. Craig Roffey's got feedback.
He's come up to, he was second again. He's got a bit of damage on the front nose. I don't know. It looked from above that the nose wasn't quite in.
He's a lot better repaired. He was a lot worse because remember he was in one of those early accidents.
Whoa.
I think he was in the big one.
You see there, it's like a snake. One car moves, all three around them move. We've got two. So who is that? That's Jamie Nankervis is one.
Raymond Yeager's back out on track. That's Ray
Yeah.
on the high side now.
06.
It's Ruben Phelps.
Ah, so he's a lap down. He's multiple laps down, but he's up there at the front. 2 laps down. He was 4. He's done really well to get himself back here. Either stayed out or he's got lucky dogs to get himself back to 2 laps down and be.
He's done wave rounds. Ruben Phelps has done wave rounds is how he's got it back. There's been a whole bunch of cars that have stayed out pretty much every jump. We're going to be 4 wide here in a moment. Watch this. This will be 4 wide for sure.
Dwayne Priest, what do you do at this stage? You just hold.
Well,
Barry
have a
Neal's-
look. He's just trying to pick a lane to be in. He doesn't know which lane he wants to support. Because the thing is, when he comes off the corner, he wants to have the car closest to him, right? So he picks Craig Roffey. The car immediately in behind him wanted to go with him because, again, wants to have that car immediately ahead of him. Now Roffey's got that run on.
Let's have a look. This is the 818. This is the one that had the incident with Barry Neal. Just slightly got him.
Stuart
Anderson.
Stuart Anderson. So this is another newer entry to the series as well. So he's learning to mind his P's and Q's. He's learning how to race.
Here we go. There's a car coming
back.
through. Let's go back to TV1 as we watch. Very banged up car there go back through the field.
Disappeared. Already gone. And now we've got the problem of there's tiny packs all around the circuit. Have a look at the fight. Have a look at how close these are down the front stretch. D-Mac and Kate Donnelly, bang wheels.
Again.
Don't knock the toe out of alignment. Don't knock the camber out of alignment. You do that, it's race over. Forget that. So you've got to be careful.
Oh,
Kate
they're
Donnelly's
3
coming up
wide.
the track.
Craig's taken the back of D-Mac. Another car D-Mac's had a collision with at some stage in the race.
Oh, Greg Spencer.
Oh, and that's because Spencer's coming through the field. Oh, what do you do? What do you do? Oh, this is chaos.
They've done well. He's actually done really well in the end. It looked tighter than it was.
We are 17 laps of green lap racing here at the moment. It's one of the longest since tonight. It's very, very close to needing to be. This is the group you have to be in to win this race. We are 16 to the end. Don't think anyone needs to come in and splash. Don't need anyone got tyres left.
They're all good.
This
They're all
is
good.
it.
It's all done.
This is where we're going to see the winner's going to come out of this little pack here. I do suspect I see cars on their roof crossing the finish line tonight. The way this is going. We've already seen it at one stage during the night, but it wasn't for the finish of the race.
I want to see car on the apron's going to cut down low. He's on the way into the pit lane. I think his engine's actually blown, so that's a shame for whoever that was. The issue now is when they were fighting for the lead and when they were swapping the lead every lap, they were too wide. Why was that working? Well, the third car in line was getting a multi-car draft and a multi-car run. Why has Craig Roffey now stalled out? The issue for Craig Roffey, he's now got no draft support. He can't, because they're now 3x3, he can't trot in behind someone and pick up that draft. That's the momentum he needs to get the move done. He hasn't been able to clear someone. So what he actually needs to do, so this is okay. I mean, this is fine, but he's not really going anywhere. He needs to find a gap in the pack to sort of slot in behind. So the worst possible thing that can happen for Craig Roffey right now is Dwayne Priest following him, because it's just locking both of them out. Unless they get to it, they need to clear the cars.
He needs to get in front of D-Mac here. He's just not quite got the momentum yet. He needs couple more cars to push him.
And it takes them 3/4 of a straight to go from nearly being passed to back level to slightly, maybe slightly ahead. It's just too short.
As he gets up, and then he's got to go wide again. Look at Witcher doing a great job down the inside. Witcher's going to be the big winner out of tonight if he can hold this position as far as championship goes. As Kim, I think that's Kim back there, the 099 gets very wide as well, up towards the wall. Middle split racing, having both cars at the front. We talked about their strategy at the start of the race. They're considering the accidents they've been in. They've done a great job to have both cars up the front here, running almost in the top 10.
Now, if Dwayne Priest and that 818 of Stuart Anderson, I think it is, swapped positions, Craig Roffey would be ahead. Yep. It's because Priest has got that damage. He cannot quite stay with Craig.
Yep. Completely understand that. 91, that is Tom Pritchard. Oh! That is Nan Curvis gets a checkup with Sean Hart. Luckily, that's great racing from those two. They have not...
Mate, I'm nervous. I'm anxious. I'm anxious watching this. I don't want to be out there. It's the first time I've ever said that.
I don't know what to do here. This is just nuts. Look at Barry Neal. Barry Neal's just dead smack in the center. He cannot do anything right now.
Bumper to bumper.
He's just got to hold the line. He's already had a few very, very close calls tonight, and if he makes one wrong call in that, or someone around him makes the wrong call, it's game over for not only him and about probably another 15 cars behind.
Now, critically right there, Donnelly got a long way out. And then he got too far out from Witcher, which allowed D-Mac to slot in and sort of pick up a draft. Then D-Mac got a run. But then the side draft kicked in and Craig Roffey pulled him back. Craig would have been in his... The best thing Craig could have done is actually gotten away from him and let D-Mac surge to the lead. He wants to let the chaos happen on those bottom two lanes. Why? Because on the front stretch, if it happens on the bottom two lanes, it's probably going to stay down there. And even if it slides up, he should be out of there by the time it happens.
Yeah, we are. We're getting cars positioning themselves at this stage. Kay Donnelly's in the best spot. He seems to be able to get that run. Although, as I say that, D-Mac gets the run to the line. He would have had it that lap with not many to go. Dwayne
Roffey's got enough. Roffey's got enough. He might actually clear. Yeah, Roffey can clear here because he'll have momentum off the corner here.
He needs Dwayne to help him there. It's 3/4 of a car length still. He's going to get up.
Dwayne Priest has got to be there. He can't be...
There's too big a gap in there.
Yeah, well, it's the fact that he's sitting half a car length outside of Roffey. So he's actually not getting draft support.
And now Witch has pulled back from Cade, so Cade won't get the run that he needs. Which is going to come? Will he go down on the apron to get around the inside of him? No.
D-Mac might clear here.
Oh, Barry Neal is pushing D-Mac to try and get in front of it, which has wobbled them all up. Craig's got to come down at this stage. He's got to get in front of D-Mac.
He's got to clear him. He's never been clear for more than a moment.
And look at this. There's a car length between him and Dwayne now.
And the problem is, the biggest problem is for Craig, is if he slots down and in, and he is only clear for a moment, he will get turned as he comes down. Yep. So you've got to, this is draft pack racing. The gaps that open up are gaps for a flash of a second and no more.
I can't take away from the chopper. I'm lucky this chopper, we're fueling it up. We're spending all that money on the fuel for the chopper because he's just following these cars around.
He is clear this time. He's clear on the corner entry.
He's got to come down.
Priest is running out of tyres. Priest is struggling.
Priest has got to let 818 Stewart past him. I know
Priest might have a go.
Look at him. He's up there.
And Tom Pritchard, keep your eyes on that Sky Point car in the bottom lane. He's just sitting here watching. Because as soon as one of these lanes all of a sudden gets their act together and goes somewhere, Pritchard will go with them.
Yeah, well, Pritchard's picking both both lanes at the moment.
He's not picking either. Yeah, he's just sitting. He's chilling. He's happy.
There's 7 to go here, people. 7 to go. Stuart Anderson is a gun in NASCAR. Watch him work his way through. This is from Troy Turner. I've completely forgot to watch chat for a while.
Here you go. Dwayne Priest. Dwayne Priest is slotted out of the line this time.
Here we
So
go.
Anderson will come through. There won't be a gap for Nankervis to slot in. Well, he's got to pick a lane now, and he's going to have no draft support. So Priest is going to go to the back.
Oh, there we go. He's into him. Nankervis is into Dwayne.
Well, that's on Dwayne. That's on Dwayne. Dwayne's come a long way down the track there to try and squeeze off the run. He's still trying to get in the line.
So here we go. So Stuart, we've got the 2 middle split racing split up by Stuart Anderson, who seems to be all over the shop a little bit. Troy Turner telling me he's a gun. He's just not keeping it straight enough at the moment. Josh Schultz and Norman Schultz called turning in to the corner is what he was saying before. Look at this run though. Stuart's right there to help Craig around.
Oh, go Kim. Just forget it, mate. Just send it to the top side.
Which is let Dwayne back in.
Yeah, he's let Dwayne back in. That's the biggest
there we
issue.
go. That's an accident. Hart's area.
And that's Sean Hart.
Oh, that's such a... we're going to go almost green, white checker here at this stage.
And he might have got away. I think Sean Hart got away with that one, to be perfectly honest.
Looks pretty good. He's got some side damage there. He's got some both side damage. That's about it.
Well, if I'm now in Sean Hart's shoes, couple things here. Number 1, I've got overheated tyres. Number 2, I've got damage. So let's come down pit lane. Let's sit static for a couple minutes and let's clean those tyres off. So he's swung off the bottom. So he's caught the apron.
He's got the apron, which has swung him back up. There's not much you can do about it there. It's just close racing. That's 4 wide at that stage. Kim being up top there, and he's just come up off the apron. Nankervis has given him no room for error, and he has had an error.
Exact same time that Dwayne has come down as well.
Yeah, just sandwiched Nankervis. He might be the big loser out of this, actually.
Dwayne will actually have no idea that that Nankervis is there and moving up because he's in his blind spot.
Yeah. That is just a shame. No one else gets caught up. I think, like I said, Dwayne's kept it steady and he's kept going, which is a great effort. Sean's facing the wrong way. He gets sideswiped again.
Is that Ash Nessa?
630. Oh,
yeah,
the 21's the problem here for Jamie. 21 gets a big hit from Jamie Nankervis on the way down, unfortunately. Peter Jones, who was in our chat before, was doing pretty good. He started up top. He'd worked his way up to the top. Maybe some steering damage there. That might be about it, though.
And Nankervis will be heartbroken because I think that's one of his best runs. He was
having a brilliant run tonight. Sean Hart is on pit lane, okay? Jamie's on pit lane. We are live. Yep. So D-Mac takes the lead of this race with Cade Donnelly. Can you believe we're still talking about Cade Donnelly and D-Mac at the front of this race? With everything that's gone on tonight. And Barry Neal.
I thought these guys would be in the barrier ages ago. I'm going to be honest. Just with the way that they were racing each other. They've touched, they've rubbed.
Everything's happened, hasn't it? I don't think that. I'm not joking. I don't think there's a car that Darren McKenzie has not touched in this field tonight.
Well, that's no longer a Southern Stars car. It's now a Southern Boys car, and Cade Donnelly's in the Sim Stars.
Oh, it's phenomenal racing, and like I said, we've got about 3 laps to decide this. Which means we're probably going to have a still chance for a couple more overtimes after that as well.
We're going to go green in regulation. Yeah, we are going to get opportunity.
Yeah, it's still on. As far as the retirements positions gone, we still have 21 cars on the lead lap. Jamie Nankervis unfortunately is about to be not one of those. He did not get out in time. He's still in pit box as they cross start-finish line here. However, Adam Malone has got out. So that's the top 20 are still in there. Sean Hart did get out.
Still there. Sean Hart's just rejoined the tail end of the pack. We're going to go green this time by.
Yep.
So we are going to have 3 laps to go and we go green.
This is absolutely everything to play for now. But If you're at the front here, you don't want to make a mistake because you don't want a chance for the cycle through and lose position here.
Sean Hart is not one of the guys you would normally see just go berserk. He's not that kind of driver, ever. But he's got nothing to lose.
Yep.
And I've seen him make some critical overtakes at critical times as well to really put himself in. He knows what to do. He knows what to do in these drafting situations. Now, it's a lot of ground to cover.
But just remember, he's sitting here in 18th position. That's only 9 spots back. You're 9 car lengths back from the lead. You've got 3 laps to do it. As soon as we go 3 wide, all of a sudden he's only...
He's got nothing to lose. He's got nothing to lose.
He's only 6 off the lead once we go 3 wide into the final 2 laps. He's just got to make some right calls. He's right in there. Let's go. Craig Roffey and Kim Roffey from Middle Split Racing. Yes, they are looking amazing.
Oh, Craig's bungled the start. He's absolutely bungled the start.
Look at that. Already. So D-Mac has got it. Look at the damage down the side of that car. D-Mac has got a flyer. Cade Donnelly has dropped down. Barry Neal in a good spot if someone can get up there and help him. But Craig has left 3 car lengths, I reckon. 4 car lengths.
Hang on. Craig Roffey is now in the strongest spot to get his car ahead of these guys because now the momentum takes over. These two will fight each other. Cade Donnelly's the car you want to follow. Now, watch this. You don't want to go yet. You want to leave yourself probably half a car length.
Look at Barry.
So what Craig's done, he's tried to back this up. He wants to get enough of a run such that he gets the momentum so that he can clear these guys. If you're right there and on the rear of these guys, Witcher's going to go to the apron.
Witcher wants this. He doesn't want to be 3 back. He wants to be in front. He wants to control. We're 5 wide. And there it is. D-Mac is hit. We have Witcher over. We have Cade Donnelly out.
Overtime. We are absolutely overtime here.
That was 5 wide going into turn 1 with 3 to go. That was always going to happen, unfortunately. And look at that. Sean Hart.
He got through.
Got through it. That's a shame.
And Donnelly got caught. Donnelly's done.
After such a good race, 97 laps, Donnelly had done it. And unfortunately now he is looking at a car that he's just not ready. Okay. He hit hard. Okay. Talk us through what's going on here, Scotty Rankin. Let's go to Witcher's.
So Witcher's got to run, and he's got to take it somewhere. Now, in my mind, I think it's on Craig Roffey to get out of here, but then Witcher just keeps going. Now, he's got to rejoin the track before then, but D-Mac can't move up. So this is one of those things whereby it's kind of on Witcher not to be there. Yep. When that yellow line sort of comes back out, that's it. You've got to be above the yellow line. So if you actually notice down the front stretch, I think it's actually a white line.
Yep.
And that's because generally you're allowed to cross over that white line. It's sort of it's just marking, this is where the banking changes.
Yep.
It's the apron. This is a flatter surface. You're gonna suffer some sort of grip penalty. The car's gonna react funny from being down there. The yellow line is a pit lane exit.
Yep.
You cannot cross that line. So
it's up to him to rejoin the track, and it's up to Darren. D-Mac's not obliged to let him rejoin the track.
Hang on. Forget that. In that specific situation, D-Mac can't let him rejoin.
Yeah, because he's got no room above him, has he?
There's 4 cars to Darren McKenzie's right-hand side.
Yep. No, Witcher should not have had himself in that position, unfortunately.
That is quite possible. I don't see a lot of silly things from Justin Witcher. I think that's actually about the... you got to remember, before we started covering this series here as well, Wilco, I've run in this series. I know these guys, I've driven with these guys. That's the first time I've seen Witcher do something like that. And that one puzzles. That one, I actually really want to pick his brain on why he did that. There will be a reason for it. He's not the kind of driver that'll send it down there and be like, no, I'm just stuff everybody else. That's not Justin Witcher. That's why he puts races together. Is because he's better than he makes these really risk management decisions quite well. So in my mind, I think he's better than that.
Yeah.
That's a puzzling one.
Let's have a look on board from you can see Peter Jones. He slows down because you see cars going into the stratosphere just about, and then all of a sudden, oh, hold on, Witcher is there.
Dodged it
onto the dirt, comes back up and does a great job of holding it very well. Look, yeah, I'd be interested to find out exactly what's happened there.
It's one of those ones where I go, I'm missing something here. There's a reason he's done it. It's not for no reason. And he's there's something more going on there. I think he thought he had enough of a run that he could clear them.
If it helps, you asked chat to weigh in. David Johnson agrees that it probably wasn't, which is I don't think I'm letting someone rejoin in the top 5 in the final 3 laps of the race. Aaron Dillon does agree that that's Witch's fault and not very smart thinking. Stevie Hoppett doesn't think that was very smart either. There's a few other things saying it wasn't the best thing, but yeah, we know it was definitely
and Aaron will know exactly where I'm coming from here because Aaron Dillon and I very much disagree on the way that we go racing, and I love that. It creates this. Aaron and I tend to get into incidents where we sort of go at each other a little bit and we don't really agree on the way that we're driving and why we're positioning the car in specific things. I love that interaction because every time I have that interaction, I learn something about Aaron Dillon. I actually get better as a race car driver. So that's why I want to ask Justin on this one. Even though it may be, I didn't really think about it, kind of got up there a little bit too far. That's fine. The guy's made a mistake. I don't see him make mistakes. So, brain fart is about all I can put it down to.
Nicholas Walsh on YouTube also agrees that was on which unsafe re-entry. As we get ready, these cars are nose to tail. Look who's still up here. D-Mac is still up here. Tom Pritchard we talked about before. Dwayne Priest is still there and thereabouts. We've got Kim Roffey and Craig Roffey in the top 10 right now. Aaron Bryan. Brad Fenley is doing a great job of still being up here. Top 20.
This is it. So cars that are in strongest positions right now is Stuart Anderson, Dwayne Priest. Why am I picking cars on the inside line? Because they have better visibility of the leader. Tom Pritchard has Barry Neal in a real blind spot. It's so much easier when they go from being the car behind. He'll go late. He'll go very, very late because it takes longer for everyone to react. And look at the jump. And Stuart Anderson's there and in the draft straight away. So if Anderson stays level, and here comes, I'm just watching the tail end of the field. Cars are scattering the tail end of the field. We're going to get a caution straight away. This is over. No, it's still green.
We are still green.
Whole bunch of contact.
Get it. Let's get there. Stuart Anderson's doing a great job. We talked about him before. He's up there.
Here comes Kim Roffey. Kim Roffey's just going to send this to the outside. Kim Roffey's got a huge head of steam up here. And Pritchard suddenly gets a push from Darren McKenzie. Ken Pritchard, who's been sitting second fiddle in that pack for the last 30 or so laps, all of a sudden pulls something out of nowhere. Roffey had a big old wobble up on the top groove, and now Craig Roffey's back in it. White flag in the air. There is one more lap to go, and Dwayne Priest has pulled himself back up into contention as well. Here comes Brad Fenley. He's going to send it from the stratosphere up on the top groove, the longest way around the circuit, but the part of the track with the highest momentum. Pritchard has a nose ahead. Stuart Anderson's going to come along and try and support Barry Neal right here. T-Mac is there. T-Mac is sending Pritchard for the win.
Dwayne Priest coming down the inside, and we've lost it.
And then on the inside, Craig Roffey comes through. Pritchard's got the nose ahead. Pritchard will win. Craig Roffey will probably take second place. No, it's going to be Ash Nessa. Ash Nessa
has come from nowhere. And Troy Davidson once again finds himself in a podium position at the end of the race. We need to go back and have a look at that. Unfortunately, many cars into one does not work. Let's have a look.
So it's momentum. The momentum's come from the bottom lane. Oh, Craig Roffey got kicked from the server for too many incident points.
Wow. Okay. So we're right here. Let's have a look. Let's pause it. Stuart Anderson's the one we want to look at here. On board with Stuart Anderson. He's pushing Barry Neal. Roffey comes down the inside here. Dwayne comes down the inside.
They're 4 wide.
They are just about 5 wide. Brad gets into the back of
It just doesn't stick.
And there it is.
Just
Roffey
does
hits Neal.
not stick.
Yeah. Drifts up, hits Neal, and that's the end of that bottom line, basically. And if you're in the top line, you're good. Ash Nessa, how has he survived all that? Oh, because he wasn't going to until Craig Roffey got booted from the server. At this
So for
point
those of
here,
you who are wondering, there is an incident point limit on this server, and it's actually quite low. It is a disqualification at 17 incident points. Car-to-car contact, light contact 0, medium contact 2, or loss of control 2, contact with the wall generally 2, 4x for heavy contact. And if you had a look at the front end of that car, you'll know that Craig Roffey was handling some damage. So he'd had some contact.
oh, sorry, I'm just watching chat as well. Dwayne Priest has been black flagged after for incident points as well. You can see here.
Another car wearing damage.
So Dwayne Priest was in the middle of all that. I'm just trying to. Oh, chopper can's broken. Yeah, so that incident there has then sent him over the limit for the 12. So he's got a drive-through penalty, which then puts him back to basically one of the last cars on the lead lap, just ahead of DMAC. I'd say DMAC's probably in the same boat there as well, being 42 seconds back.
Is that Peter Matson just chilling on the bottom group?
Yeah.
He's laps down though, so
he's seventh.
He got back to the lead lap. He got back to the lead lap in the end. Good job, Pato.
After his very, very early incident. Oh my God, there's so much to unpack there. 0-30. Yes. No.
Ran a quote, finished in P4.
It was, look, I there is a whole stream after this. Go watch that stream over on Australasian Supercar eSeries on Facebook. They will talk you through every single incident. There's plenty to talk about tonight. But look at this car, number 91, got away with it, took the high line, and did everything he could to finish this race in P1, and he did. So let's go through those results.
Forget all that. I am chomping at the bit to talk to Ash Nessa because I have a feeling this is his first podium.
It probably would be. So let's quickly, while you get everything set up, I'm not going to quite. I'll go through the field here. I've just got to bring up Discord in the background so I can see what you're doing. Tom Pritchard takes this win by half a second over Ash Nessa. Congratulations, well done, Ash. Troy Davison once again top 3. Aaron Bryan 4th. Todd Maxfield 5th. Stuart Anderson on a great effort in 6th there, considering he was stuck in that little bit at the end. Peter Matson, what a job after being in incidents early on. He gets home to 7th. Brad Fenley, we talked about him all night, got up to 8th. Tim Blundell 9th. Cade Donnelly in 10th. Let's just go to the top 20 before we start talking to people. Peter Jones in 11th. What a good comeback from him, considering he almost got in a few accidents. Barry Neal, unfortunately, had that one almost in the bag before all hell broke loose at the end there. Kim Roffey as well, knocked out there to 13th. Wayne Priest with that penalty at the end to 14th. DMAC, I suspect, has got the same thing to 15th. Sean Hart, unfortunately, was doing such a great job there, end up in 16th position. Craig Roffey, 1 lap down on 17th, and Justin Witcher there, 18th, both having their own little things and probably going to be talked about later on after the show. Troy Mattinson, 19th, and Ruben Phelps, what a great job from him. 2 laps down, finished in 20th. Whew.
My word.
That's the thing.
We've had the bangers. We've had the bangers, Wilco. We've had the absolute bangers. Now we're into the absolute clangers in the middle of the season. The last couple of races has just been back-to-back incidents, cautions. The series is growing. It's a growing pain. This is one of the biggest issues that these guys are going to learn to deal with. The cream in these situations rises to the top because the drivers figure out a way to get through these incidents. And Troy Davison is one of those guys who over the last couple of weeks has actually ran some pretty clean races. And we'll get to talk to him right now.
Bring on Troy Davison. What an absolute race, mate. We get to talk to you yet again. What do you think of that?
Yeah, we'll go now. I was nowhere tonight. I just didn't really have the speed. I sort of had got caught in a bit of a wreck early on. Not too much damage, but enough to make me car a little bit slower. And I just thought, I was looking at my championship sort of contenders, and it wasn't too bad other than Witcher there. But once I seen him go out, I thought, well, I'll happily bring it home in 10th or 12th here. And then all that crash at the end there and ended up landing on the podium.
I'm just looking at it now. You have got an absolute bucket of points against everyone that's around you on the championship. Now, I'd like to say how you had a slow car tonight and you didn't really have the run of it. And here you are on the podium. We're talking to you, mate.
Yeah, and that's this series altogether. I think you just got to manage your. I don't know. You just sort of it gets pretty hectic there in that front pack at times, and you just got to watch it. And I find just be very careful and just pick your moments. And tonight I just accepted that I just a bit of a wreck on my car and sort of just didn't have the speed, and so I thought I'd be just hang around the top 10 there, sort of thing. And like I say, a bit of luck coming my way, and here I'm on the podium, so I can't complain.
Let's talk about that championship in a nutshell, because I think one of the critical things going forward is we've obviously got the post-race to report over on Australasian Supercars eSeries Facebook page. One of the biggest things that's going to come out of that is actually penalty points. Mm-hmm. And when I'm having a look at the championship, Gary Wellman behind you is -15. So that's 15 points deducted due to incidents. You are actually keeping yourself from these incidents where you're at fault. I think, you've got to put races together, but you've got to make sure you're not at fault and you're not subtracting points. Otherwise, the third place finish might as well be a 20th.
Yeah, that's it. Like the way these penalties are now, they're pretty hefty. So, you cop a few of them and it's going to really damage your standings, points in the standings sort of thing. So I've sort of got off to a reasonably good start in the series and just really not really trying that hard for the outright win now, just trying to sort of salvage as many points as I can and, minimise those penalties. And I think you come out pretty good, more than not sort of thing,
I think, Scotty, we're talking to the current championship leader. I'm going through the points in my head.
Let's not talk about that.
23. I'm looking at the wrong number. You are...
We've got drop rounds to consider yet, which is a completely different set of mathematics.
No, which is just got it. I think you've jumped ahead. But currently, we can't take point drop rounds into it at the stage. We just got to go off raw numbers. I think you're sitting second. I'm going back on it.
Again, I'm pretty stoked on that because I am a race down. So, definitely no complaints there. And, it's just good to sort of make it that little bit more tighter once again.
Okay, Troy, going into it, I want to ask the big question. Was there any strategy tonight, or was it just a matter of let's just see what happens and react as it comes along?
Oh, there's always strategy, but I sort of, my quali lap, I should have did it on the second lap. I went in the first and just didn't have the speed there. So I sort of qualified 16th mid-pack or something. And then I just sort of finding my way a bit, and it was just the whole race was pretty hectic up front, and I thought I just don't want to be a part of that really. So I was just managing my car, but then I think me and Gary got some cars crashed in front of us, and he ended up getting 8 minutes damage or whatever, and I had about a minute. But then I didn't really have the car speed to sort of really mix it, so I thought I'll just hang around. And just capitalising on fuel stops and looking after the tyres where I can, and just really trying to read the play as far as you can sort of see cars, that are going to end up in a wreck more often than not, I reckon. And as soon as I see them sort of mucking around, I just try to stay clear of it.
Well, it definitely worked well for you tonight, Scotty, though. Sorry, Scotty, you take it away, though.
I think Troy's probably one of the best ones. The first 10, 15 laps, I think, of these races are absolutely critical because talk to us. When you're rolling around in practice, you do try and set up these sort of packs, but generally it's around your teammates. So I know you guys at Simboys do obviously try and do a lot of that pack practice and pushing practice and drafting practice. You do a lot of that. That's quite commonplace to see in any practice session. Then the race kicks off. How many times what was the sort of biggest pack you got together? Was it maybe 10, 15 cars during practice? You sort of raced in and around. Then what did the car feel like when you finally got let loose?
Yeah, in quali, you mean, or in the race?
Well, the difference between practice and the race, because, there's no way you can get 43 cars together in practice to do practice together.
No, that's right. In practice, you might be, 2 wide or whatever, but once it starts going 3, 4 wide and, it's just, some cars not holding their line that great and all that, you can just see it's going to unfold. So, it's long races, you got to just keep your nose clean. And in this, I've said it several times this year, but there's a lot of drafting these cars, and as long as you're thereabouts at the end, you can just pick your moment and go for it if you want. And the car, they'll generally draft it well enough to get you to the front. So, early stages and halfway through the race, I don't find the need to sort of get too carried away because you end up in the fence more often than not.
I don't know, mate. Well, another cracking race performance. Let's say too. This has got to stop. You're getting in here all the time, mate. We've got to stop leaving the back door open for you, I think, is the biggest issue. So, opportunity for you to thank the sponsors and give a shout out to all those around you, mate.
I'm happy to keep going up here. It's where I want to be. But just thank the sponsors again. Just Hot Toddy Heating Stalls, United Electrical, Ferris Shifters. yeah, and yet again, just the broadcast, you guys, it's great to sort of have that there, and Australasian Supercar eSeries and all the series sponsors. Thanks again.